This is going to be an interesting run, because I really do not like the Valmont's whip. Sure, it's got good range, it can hit through shields, and now that it's no longer survival scaling, it is much faster, it's much more spammable. You can also use it with tactics, which is kind of cool. But the real problem with this comes in with its gimmick. Critical hit if the tip of the whip strikes the enemy. And the tip of the whip is just impossible to figure out. The hitbox on this thing is always much, much smaller than you think it is, and at least for me, I usually spend most of any run that I'm using this just getting frustrated at the fact that I can't actually seemingly hit enemies with it. Even if it looks like the tip of the whip is definitely inside of the boss or elite or whatever you happen to be fighting, the game just says, nah, you didn't hit it, try again. I guess now that it's faster, that might be a little bit better, or at least I'll have less time in between my readjustments when I'm using it. But of course, you really do need to get the critical with this weapon, because from what I remember, the base damage is not at all very impressive. If you're not getting the critical, it feels like you're just tickling the enemy, and that is annoying. It's just, even if this weapon did have really good damage, the way that I just cannot manage to nail that critical is too frustrating for me to want to use, which is why I rarely ever do use it. But the reason that I'm using it now is because I had a guy I shouted out last time, Schmirko, tell me that this went from his least favorite weapon to his favorite weapon in the last couple updates. So I gotta imagine there's something going on here. Maybe they managed to fix up the hitbox on it. Maybe just the fact that it is faster does make a huge difference. But I mean, either way, I'm going to be seeing in this run, I suppose. Yeah, I do hope that it is much better because... and like one more shield. Yeah, there we go. I do hope that it is much better because Valmont is also, I believe, the composer of the game. So this is a developer weapon, and to have a developer weapon be something entirely unimpressive is kind of too bad. I mean, not to mention the fact that this is a very much Castlevania-inspired game, so having the whip be a bad weapon that would be quite sad. So I really am pulling for this one, but I don't know. We'll see. Either way, being a big old purple weapon, I got the Cardis outfit on, another reference to, I believe, one of the developers. So it's just kind of like a developer fun time hour, who, for some reason, despite having a Red Star logo for Motion Twin, does seem to favor the color purple a lot. I guess considering I favor the color pink, I guess, yeah, no, you know, it's a match made in heaven if you think about it. Okay. But yeah, what's going to be the strategy with this run then? Hey, if I'm really going to be trying to make this thing work, if I'm going to be trying my hardest to get the most out of the Valmont's whip that I possibly can, I guess it would be rooting, right? Just rooting an enemy to the ground means that you're going to be able to, like, make sure that they're staying in the optimal position as long as possible. And yeah, but the problem is that there's not really too much you can do with brutality. Sure, I could go tactics, but let's be honest here. If I'm going to have a hard enough time just trying to dodge around, not getting hit even a single time over the course of the run, because that will take me down to 0% health in Paradise City, because I'll be dead. It's like trying to combo that with... Yeah, sure. Trying to combo that with also getting frustrated with trying to get the perfect positioning, I think, is just a recipe for disaster. So yeah, we're going brutality, and that means that I'm not going to get access to Wolf Trap. I'm not going to get access to, like, Frost Blast, the Ice Grenade, anything like that. So it's really Boy's Axe. It's Boy's Axe or nothing, and I think I would rather just have a shield when it comes to doing that. Something like the grappling hook that I saw back there was maybe a little tempting, but to be honest, you know, pushing an enemy back might be the other thing. Getting something like the Spartan Sandals could work. Knockback shield. Well, knockback shield if I was working with tactics, I guess. Impaler? No, Impaler's just stupid. That's ridiculous. Why even why even bother with that sort of idea? I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe I'll just go for trying to get as much synergistic stuff as possible. Maybe throw on open wounds, but just try to get something that does fire, poison, bleed, everything that I possibly can, and just make that work. Maybe Frenzy would also work out well too, because hey, this is a big weapon. You can hit through a lot of enemies at one time, so you know, you get a critical on one enemy, hit 3 other ones. You regen up a lot of health in each one of the individual areas. And I should be able to hit enemies pretty easily in here because, well, being able to hit through shields does mean that the little mushroom boys are not going to be any issue right now, or the thornies at that rate, because they will not even, you know, any sort of shielding that they're doing is entirely pointless. I'll just be able to hit immediately through it. Yeah, you can see that whole, like, not getting the critical not working out too well for me. But yeah, I mean, hey, if I'm going to be taking any sort of whip, I mean, the big gimmick of the whip is that it can hit through shields, so I might as well be just hang on here for a second so I'm not getting hit by anything. Big gimmick of the whip is that, you know, you can hit through shields, so I might as well go to areas where enemies have a lot of shields to be hit through. Why not? Yeah, no, even at very low level, Frenzy's actually working out pretty well right now. So that's nice. Would have liked to have been able to afford the map for this area, but also at the same time, I think getting this Valmont's whip that does poison enemies is also, there's something to that? Yeah? I mean, I don't know, because, well, a time-honored, let's be honest here, if we are talking about like Dark Souls references on top of Castlevania and everything, just throwing a lot of poison, you know, having a whip that poisons the enemy is very much in line with like the classic PvP strategy from what I understand. Used to just be, you know, hey, you get a whip that does toxic. You know, you can hit through shields, so enemies can't really defend against, well, so players can't defend against that, much less enemies. I can't believe that hit me. I guess it was the shockwave on the ground. And then you just and you know, it's a very fast weapon too. Just continuously spam that thing, get them poisoned, and what are they gonna do? Ain't gonna do nothing. Dead before they know it, really. So yeah, I think that this could also be like a totally reasonable way to go about doing a run, even though I'm not gonna have the thing that usually enables that to be real special. Yeah, you had your time in the sun, get out of here. Even though I don't really have the thing that would make that really special, you know, the Hokuto's bow, it could still be an easy way to get a lot of damage if I just went hard into like bombs or something. You know, something that's going to be doing a lot of bursts that can benefit a lot from 100% on poison. I can still get like burning, slow down, everything going on here too. Probably get some good damage out of it. We'll eventually switch it out, but you know, for even just the time being. I don't know. Oh, well, it's a good thing I went through and got all that healing from the thing first. Man. Well, whatever. You know, I'll just keep getting on here. Oof. Not a big fan of... I'm still a little bit worried about, like, the sort of damage I'm getting here. It's not as good as it could be. But maybe that is just, you know, hey, line up some of the synergies and things will all start to fall into place. It does seem like it is getting a little bit easier to get the criticals, but I don't know. I mean, that could just be me wanting this weapon to be good. It is the Castlevania weapon. The whip is the classic Castlevania weapon, and if you ain't right into the spikes, and like, how can you have a game like this where it's bad? Ergo, it has to be good, right? Dangerous thinking, perhaps, but I don't know. You know, I do really like the Castlevania games, too. I mean, certainly one of the things that drew me to this in the first place is the fact that I do really, you know, hey, I like playing the Castlevania games, and this one certainly does that thing pretty well in a much more fast-paced, you know, roguelite style, which I'm always a big fan of. I mean, hey, it's like, even to this day, I am still keeping up with like all the your Castlevania-esque type of games, even if I'm not a huge fan of your usual Metroid style that the more modern Castlevania games have adopted. Well, more modern ever since the PlayStation, but you know what I mean. It's like, I still do like how they got like the huge RPG aspect, the various side quests they had in games like Order of Ecclesia and everything, and, you know, just in general, like, huge collection stuff. A lot of collection stuff, which is why I was a big fan of playing Bloodstained when that came out. I did not really end up doing a whole lot when it came to utilizing whips in that game, certainly, but I did spam a lot of lasers. In fact, through into the... Oh my! This is horrible. Anyway, wow, what a terrible combination there. Certainly falling into the spikes did not help me at all, but oh man, that was embarrassing. Arboretum. I mean, I like this place a lot more. I guess I can't really say that I love this place yet, though, can I? Well, anyway, what was I saying here? Oh yeah, Bloodstained. When I played it kind of as a stream for the channel, I mostly remember just, spamming an awful lot of... Yeah, it was like 99% spamming... Well, speaking of like regen. Spamming lasers, and then 1% arguing about pizza. So yeah, most of those episodes are unlisted, if you're wondering. Because... I know you're thinking, it's like, wait, what were you even talking about with pizza? If I'm not wrong, I think I was arguing that pizza was a sandwich. Which I know, yeah. I know what you're thinking right now. And yes, how can I possibly be so controversial, so brave, yet also so right at the same time? I mean, it is my burden having opinions so good that they're actually facts, but I mean, you know, what can I say? I mean, if you're not convinced, it's basically like, hey, it appears on... It is sauce, cheese, you know, the various toppings, meat. You usually get meat in there. As on top of a piece of bread, which is basically like an open-faced sandwich. If you turn that into I mean, if you're saying, no, it's got to have two pieces, would you say a calzone is a sandwich? Ergo, they're all under the same sandwich umbrellas. Don't at me. Or do. Because I think that, I don't know, I guess you want a lot of people making fun of you for being wrong about your opinion on if pizza is a sandwich. So yeah, that's that is a little preview of what it would be like to watch me play through Bloodstained. Overall, a pretty great game. I mean, I really did like a lot, especially like the cooking thing. I don't know why, but something about that. You know, all things that have very little to do with the gameplay, but hey, I mean, there's also like a huge amount of different good weapons in there as well as, you know, just a like solid amount of bosses and different enemies to be fighting. It was a very good type of successor to the classic type of Castlevania games, and I really do hope to see a lot more of that stuff in the future. Because God knows that Konami ain't going to be doing anything. Not at all. That is not enough to be hit on the critical, eh? I'm frustrated. My favorite Castlevania game actually was not one of the Metroid style games. It was really just the Castlevania 3. I mean, there was a lot of different stages, a lot of huge variety of gameplay that you got in that. Different allies that you get from your Alucards, your Syphas, and of course your Grant Dunasties. Perhaps one of the greatest names for a video game character of all. Also, just a killer soundtrack. I mean, a lot of the classic Castlevania tunes that got remixed later on and everything came from Castlevania 3, and it was also one that had I think the actual cartridge itself just barely got clipped. The actual cartridge itself had like an improved sound chip in the Japanese version. I don't think that ever came over to America to really accentuate the amazing work the composers did. What a good game. I mean, definitely the classic of the classic games. Also, it starred a guy named Ralph, which is pretty fun. What do you got? Spiked shield. I mean, it's not like I'm really getting too much out of Thunder Shield right now, so get out of here. I'm no longer in need of the services of Thunder. Wow, 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 wow. That was the most pained reference I maybe have ever made on this channel. That's saying something. All right, what else are we doing here? I mean, I was also a big fan of like the DS Castlevanias. I mean, certainly which Bloodstained took an awful lot of inspiration from. I mean, certainly main character in Bloodstained is just basically the main character in Order of Ecclesia. Also, that was one that I was going to be talking about last time when it came to like a risk-reward type of play. Well, oh, okay, not last time, but what was it? All the way back in the... Nah. I'd like to keep the poison for right now, at least. No, all the way back in the Switch Sword run. Because, yeah, one of the things that I wanted to mention was in Order of Ecclesia, like the whole risk-reward, one of the many seals that you could get that was, you know, kind of your basic power-up equipment, whatever you'd call it, was like the power of Dracula, the ability to have like hugely improved stats at the cost of constantly taking damage over time. Except the stats were so hugely improved that you could actually like blitz down bosses within seconds before you even need to like start to heal or think about taking the item off. It was a pretty cool little mechanic in the game that I like a lot. I mean, just, of course, like, also DS was my first Castlevania games. I think Dawn of Sorrow was the very first one that I played. Because for a very long time, I was all about that PC gaming. More than anything else. First console I ever had was the Nintendo 64, so I certainly wasn't getting the Castlevania game for that one. Oh, let me tell you, I do like the 2D games. Not a big fan of the 3D Castlevanias. Which is funny because they really did want the 3D Castlevanias to take off a lot. You know, you go. I think you can probably go and like look at old interviews where they were talking about, hey, well, I suppose I should just open this up anyway. Maybe see what this is all about. Sure, why not? Whatever. Yeah, like Castlevania 64 was supposed to be like the big continuation of the series, whereas Symphony of the Night was supposed to be just this thing that we're working on because we want to have something for the PlayStation. And then of course it's like that got just so the actual impact on everything got switched around so much. That said, I also don't really consider like the Castlevania type of games to be all that much like a forerunner in the Metroid style, unless you're talking about like Metroid as far as RPG goes. For example, this game I would consider to be much more of a Castlevania game than a Metroid style game because it is way more stat and build focused and everything like that. Not so much more like exploration and I don't even know what else I'd say, but you know what I mean by that. Upgrade focused? Yeah, I guess like upgrade is kind of what I would be thinking of. Because the upgrades that you get are permanent and they're pretty quick. They come in the game pretty quick. I mean, I did that small series recently where how long did it take me to get every one of the... Good. Yeah, how long did it take me to get every one of the runes? It was like nothing at all. And I mean, sure, there's a lot of stuff to unlock for weaponry goes and everything, but I would say that's a little bit closer to the Castlevania style of collecting items in the game. You know, like all the many different types of like foodstuffs or little equipment that you're not really going to get too much usage out of, but you're getting anyway because you want to fill out the list of drops from every enemy in the game. Yeah, I still think that Metroid does kind of hold the title as the true inspirer of anybody that does this sort of style of game. And of course, you know, if you ever played La Mulana, the Maze of Gallius is also very much maybe even more of what you would think of the Castlevania-inspired games than some of the actual Castlevania games. Now, I do appreciate everything Castlevania does, but I just can't really consider it to be in the same, like, ballpark as Metroid in terms of its contributions to game design, I suppose is what I would say. This is all just a very roundabout way of saying you'll never catch me saying Metroidvania. Which is me being needlessly pedantic and... I don't know, specific, elitist? I guess you would consider that to be elitist if you're trying to, like, split hairs on what to call something. So close to getting out of that. I don't know. The point is, I do really like collecting all of the food stuff that you can possibly get in a Castlevania game. That's what I was talking about there with the whole, hey, I really like the cooking that they had going on in Bloodstained. I spent so long doing the cooking and also just collecting the shards. But you know me, I'm a grinding type of guy. I love that grinding. Like a pepper mill in a strip club. Yeah, that's the best I got. All about that grinding. I mean, God, just look at the recent Dead Cells series. How quickly did I get up the forge to max level? It was like 3 days. What sort of madman? Well, I mean, probably a lot more. There's probably a lot more mad people out there, mad lads out there, ready to kind of do that with the whole situation going on right now. But you know what I mean. What else are you gonna be doing? I mean, Secrets of Grind, you just got back into that and ground up everything within the day. Within like a couple hours at that. I would love the giant whistle because I think that would be great for the whole poisons enemies, make it very trivial to do a lot of extra damage, but not quite what I'm looking for here. What I'd really like to do is just remember finally to go re-roll the... Good. Remember finally to go re-roll the flamethrower turret, so I have a little bit better stat distribution here. It's not what I got happening right now is not doing me any favors. Yeah, that's got to be a lot easier to hit the critical on that, because I swear, normally I would not be able to. Normally I would have not have been hitting the elite there, which is good, because that's. I mean, all you need to do to have me turn my opinion around on this weapon a lot is just be like, we fixed the hitbox. And I'd be like, okay, good. Or, like, I guess technically not fix the hitbox, but we made the hitbox a lot more forgiving, a lot easier to hit. Box. That's it. That's all I need. You know, I'll just... Give me that meme about, like, the emoji going to the car or whatever. That's it. Even like some of the other like lesser Castlevania games I still really like a lot. Except for Circle of the Moon. I know everybody loves Circle of the Moon. I did not like that because the whole idea of having the cards be random drops was terrible. It was a terrible idea. How do I... Why am I saying that, you might ask? Well, it's because when I played through Circle of the Moon, nothing dropped for me. So I had to beat the game with the Fire Whip. The first and only upgrade that I ever got. Because the big gimmick of the game was randomly dropping. And I wasn't going to go grind for it because I didn't... Well, basically, I think what actually happened was I sort of had like a... it's about the principle of the thing sort of attitude about it at some point where I was just like, well, I'm not going to go grind for that. I want to be able to be salty about this game forever. If they don't give me this, and here we are. maybe for the channel at some point in time I'll go back and I'll play like a magician mode where they just give you all of the cards immediately. Figure out what I was missing by not being able to do all of the combinations that I could have if the game was a little bit more forgiving. I'm just saying. But yeah, like, there was also like the God, what was the Lament of Sorrow, I think it was called? The one with, like, the weird lo-fi music, which I actually really liked. I thought that music was all right. It was solid. I don't really know why they decided to do that, but hey. Also, Youst, pretty cool guy. he glowed all the time because, you know, the GBA was not backlit. So that was fun. Good way to get around that. They're all, I think like the official explanation was something along the lines of, well, you know, he's the son of one of the Belnades and one of the Belmonts. Belnades, is that right? Syphas? Sypha, magician-y type. So he's like a magician, basically. If you look at his genealogy, it says half magician, so he glows. Which is a dumb explanation, but hey, at least you could actually see the character on the screen. Which makes a big difference. Good done. Alright, come on. Also, that's like the, there's a series that always makes me think of every single thing. You know, every single time I say like the term Dracula movement, whenever an enemy teleports around everywhere. Or like the whole thing about having just more skulls than it even makes sense. Comical amounts of skulls comes from those games, after all. Because the idea that you made a catacombs, not just like literally out of bones, but there's also like giant bones that you carved stairs into and everything. It goes from terrifying to comical. That is a trope that I always like seeing even to this very day. That said, I'm really not all that... You know, I was talking up whips and everything like that, but most of the time that I ended up playing any sort of Castlevania game, it was mostly not using whips. Like the original... like in some of the original Castlevania games, I would always go for like gigantic claymores, because I'm like, hey, it's got a larger attack rating, so it's better. Completely ignoring, you know, why that's the case. But hey, made for some fun runs all the way back in like Dawn of Sorrow. Getting to use Death's Scythe and everything was pretty cool. I mean, so, you know what definitely made transition well over to this game? Sides. Still as good as ever. But, you know, these days I kind of prefer more like either spell type of builds, like I was saying, using, what was it, Synergizing, I think, in Bloodstained. Just spamming endless amounts of lasers everywhere. Or just going for like a fast sword. Just something that's quick. You'll be able to kill enemies quickly. If I can get like the type of weapon that hits 1,000,000 times per second and also does not prevent you from, you know, also doesn't stop you from being able to continue to move while spamming it. Yeah. Wonder if Bloodstained is going to be getting any DLC anytime soon. Or like sequels. There was some sequel bait in that game after all. I forgot to re-roll my flamethrower turret again. Whoops, my bad. Should probably have also tried to re-roll the explosive crossbow if I was going to be trying to do that. Dang it. Okay. I mean, I guess I'll give you this. It's like, hey, the one time that you're going to find a whip being an actual usable type of weapon is in a Castlevania game, because as far as I know, I don't think whips are really used too much for combat. Usually for, like, torture. In other words, much like, you know, an enemy being lit on fire exploding into a bunch of viscera, an enemy being whipped into a bunch of viscera. Not really the same thing here. The only way I could even see that working is if it was whipping in, like, the culinary term sense. Where you know, just take an egg beater and... or take any sort of... Or take, like, a whisk and then use it as fast as you possibly can. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Yeah, I told you, making food in those games. Any sort of Castlevania game, like past the PlayStation 1s, certainly does need to have some form of... I'll take it. Certainly does need to have some form of, like, ridiculous spread of food, buffet of food on display at all points in time. Okay, let's actually, like... I'll probably be switching out. Let's be honest, I'll probably be switching out the Valmont's whip for something now that I have some way of doing poison, and then much nicer. I'll also probably want to, I don't know, in some ways, upgrade my flamethrower turret at some point in time, but for right now, it's fine. There's no issue here. I think it was Portrait of Ruin that had a room in it where there was a breakable, like, candelabra or whatever. You know, the sort of thing that gives you money, basically, directly above a cash register. And you had to use, like, items that would increase the amount of money you get to drop larger amounts of money in there to get each one of the items that was on display. It was a very silly mechanic, but one that I liked a lot. Got equipped up like 2 gold rings and some sort of like soul that increases the amount of money you get, and then you drop like $1,000 bag into the cash register to get I don't know, like a Boston cream pie. Oh, this sucks. Of course, he saw me immediately. I'm actually going to, like, get pyrotechnics working for me here. I guess as far as elites go, this is kind of the preferable outcome, but it's still not great. Not really getting too much else right now for, like, good stuff. As, like, a secondary weapon, I think this could work a lot. Usually I wouldn't really suggest taking, like, a secondary weapon that's also going to be something that... Oh, I'm glad I didn't get the hit stun there. Oh, come on. I got to get rid... As soon as I get rid of this, should be on easy street. Easy money. By the way, do I have anything good on this? Oh, Pyrotechnics does actually have a 100% on poison. Which is good, but, you know, like I said, it's not really something that I should be trying to make work for myself anyway. This is the whip run, after all. It's just, I think that as a way to get rid of a curse, can't do too much better than this. Right? Okay. And I guess just for the gold as well as the sell, really. I want to get as much gold as possible. I am full up on potion charges and everything, so it's not that big of a deal, but I also do just... I want to take this cautious. Take this cautious, calm, cool, collected, make sure that I'm not going to be making any major mistakes, just running around here a little bit too quickly. Nah. If it was colorless, sure. That sword and board, I mean, as far as I know, I ain't going to go like full Lion Tamer and get your classic type of chair and your classic type of like a chair and whip type of setup, but hey, you know, I guess the only other person that uses a whip like as a weapon a whole lot is your Indiana Jones. Usually if you see like a whip, it's your Castlevania reference or your Indiana Jones. Occasionally you might get like a Lion Tamer type of deal, but I'd say that's pretty rare comparatively. And I mean, you know, Dr. Jones also had a gun, which is maybe the more important bit. You know, guns in Castlevania games, those things not really as effective. There have been a couple that have appeared, but aside from maybe the one guy in Order of Ecclesia, and that was a magic gun. I don't know if I would really say that... Well, this isn't great. Worked out too well for anybody. Anyway. Yeah, just leave him with, yeah. Now you get out of here. Okay, well, not really too much that I'm going to be able to find for, like, shielded enemies anymore, but I guess this is the more difficult of the areas to go to, so it only makes sense. Great. You never know if those guys are going to be elites or not. And that should do it. Yeah, I gotta say, it's like, as of just yet, I don't know if I'm super bought into the whip being great, but I also really do need, like, an upgrade for it. saving up enough money, having like damage over time and everything. I have my damage over time set and working for myself, and getting an upgrade for this to take advantage of that should end with a pretty good run, if I'm not entirely off base here. Well, we'll see. I don't know. Forget about that. I'm going to take my good old poison biters around here. Having that doubled up is not going to be very useful, but, you know, these things do hit very quickly, very constantly. Should make for a good addition to this type of run. Good. Duelists, apparently, much better going up against melee items. Something that I haven't really tested out or anything yet to see exactly what those guys do, because I feel like I've been taking them out before I can even figure out what their whole gimmick and everything is. But that seems to be it. Of course. I really don't want to use another potion charge here if I possibly can, but might need to come down to that, really. Because things are kind of difficult to hit with a whip right now. Good. Frenzy is still working out, as our... You know, I got 3 skulls in the bottom left corner. What's up with that? I don't know, just coincidence, I suppose. But yeah, I could try cursing myself again, but that also does seem like it's going to be pretty risky, especially in this area. I think would probably rather wait until I get into Sepulcher. Probably going to be the Sepulcher. You know it. You love it. It's a Sepulcher. I got 100% on poison anywhere here. Sure, whatever. Gonna lose a stat, which is unfortunate, but this game has really been trying to push me towards getting a tactics run, and I don't really know why that is right now. Oh well, at least now I should have, you know, not only like good damage, 225, but also synergies working as I really need them to. Also, 100% on burning oil would be good if I could get a secondary item that does oil. Anyway. That would be the thing to really start getting a huge amount of extra damage. Well, I'm going to have to deal with that in a second. Okay, I'm just mostly worried about the demon than anything else. I guess I could also go hit up like the Cavern if I really wanted to. Nope, I didn't get the... Damn it. Okay, I guess I'm going to have to use a potion charge here, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't really see any way around this. I could try to get Frenzy working for me, but I don't think it's going to cover everything that I need as quickly as I need it to. Yeah, you know what? Let's just go to the Cavern. This, I mean, if the hitbox is larger than I think it is, this should be pretty easy to take down the giant. I'm going to probably want to prioritize getting a shield in the next area in one way or another. I mean, sure, I can deal with it otherwise, but not very well. And if I also get very lucky and get like a lot of extra money, I can just go afford another potion charge. Get myself up to full on there again. I mean, if I can also hit the Hand of the King easier, that would be good. But we'll see how that happens. I don't know. That's nice, at least. Oh yeah, it hits through shields, so I can just hit him from the back. I guess, yeah, this is kind of like the shield, the next shield area in the theming that I was attempting to go with here. And I believe the entire reason that you hit through shields is because that was true back in Dark Souls or something. Because I don't remember if you could hit through shields or if you just could apply like poison through shields, but either way it was an effective strategy. I do know that. A legendary strategy, if you will. Used by the greatest among us. The PvP people playing Dark Souls. Never got into PvP in Dark Souls. That was... I mean, one, I don't really play too much for like multiplayer stuff, period. But also... it's just... I don't know. Certainly like Dark Souls 2, they had the mechanics to make it really work, but I feel like in the other Dark Souls, it's a slightly more questionable. Only slightly. Yeah, those games were really built for PvP. Go quick. Quick and the dead. Good. Then if you got a legendary item, yeah, I should be able to keep him locked in place. Very, very, just incredibly nice. I could have 2 whips right now if I wanted to, but I mean, come on, what's the point in that? Oh, okay, that is, oh, just, you know, like chef's kiss. Amazing to get. Bleed, too. I don't know if that's really exactly what I'm looking for out of an item, but that's... I could not have asked for much better. Okay, I feel like, yeah, it was... Hey, if getting that was the price of entry... was entering into the castle was the price of getting that weapon, totally worth it. It's just too bad that this is not really like a double... Actually, I have been told before that this is a double tapping type of weapon. I don't know if it's double... Can I make this work? How do I make it? I don't actually know how to make this work, unfortunately. Like anybody... Oh, as long as I'm doing this on a stream or anything, I can ask the chat. Which is one of the few times that... No, that's not true at all. I love my chat. But you know what I mean. I feel like I should just go take a break or something and figure out how I can do like double tapping with this. And have 2... And have like super powerful attacks using 2 whips at once, but... Well, as it is, it's also doing just fine damage by itself, too. Let's keep the traditional. No, that's not working. I'm trying to like press both buttons down at the same time. Well, if I get a second whip, I'll try mapping them to the same button and see if I can't get something working there. But as it is, I don't really have... I guess if I didn't sell the previous whip I had, I could have tried that out. This is uncharted territory for me. I never actually tried to make the Valmont's whip working when there was some sort of exploit thing with it. Good. Yeah, just let the biters take them out. Which actually worked out pretty well. Good stuff. Wave of Denial is a genuinely pretty great weapon, but, you know, it's also not one that is going to be very effective with the sort of build that I'm using right now. I really do need to keep both of the objects that I have down there. I did just curse myself, and I didn't realize it. It's a good thing that I did realize that before anything could have been bad. Oh, Corrupted Power is actually pretty nice, but I feel like everything else I have right now is usable. Oh. Oh, you're supposed to go not from this way. Perhaps. It's hard to say. All right, well, there's still plenty of other area to get into. And, you know, the biters are not quite the same thing as a turret, but they will work effectively as the same thing, allowing me to really keep my distance here. And, you know, that's provided that I'm not even using my actual turret that I have. I shouldn't have taken that. I just saw, hey, I can get rid of my malaise. Surely this is worth it. 7, please? There we are. Took a second, but we're good. This is bad. I you know, made a mistake here. And I'm going to admit that freely right now. Okay. See if I can get the cool bank shot in there. Oh! Oh, look at that. I think. Now that has a little tinier of an area that it hits. Well, I mean, it's noticing them. Okay. That did kill him. Both of them, actually. What? Do not like what is going on down there. Okay. So this is going to be a little bit trickier to deal with, but as long as I... Okay. Okay. Ah! I was really worried about that demon for a second there, as I'm sure you could probably tell with the way that I wasn't talking. But yeah, managed it anyway. Okay. Hey, we're at full health, no malaise again. It's not worth the risk, but hey, it worked out anyway. And I don't even have like an outrageously huge amount of stats right now or anything. And I'm actually still like crushing things pretty. Maybe the damage has just been improved quite a bit. I don't know. I didn't really do any research before this. Maybe I should have. But well, ifs and buts are candy and nuts. We'd all have Merry Christmas. I can't afford anything. That's unfortunate, but as it is, I'm like the damage has actually been pretty good right now. So maybe it's not all that big of a deal. Maybe I can make this. Oh, come on. Come on a second time. Ah. Come on again, I believe, is the title of the boss theme in Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. I just remember that because I really like all of the names, the themes, and those. Yoko Shimomura has a very strange way of titling a lot of her tracks, but they're pretty good. These guys look tough. Should we be careful? I think is the boss theme in kill you real quick. This is the boss theme in Bowser's Inside Story. Here's Some Weapons is the Smithy Gang theme in Mario RPG. Point is, it's a lot of good names. Okay. Anything else I'm looking at here? I think I can pretty safely clear on out of here after this. Get one more set of biters down, and we're good. Yeah, no, this should do it. This should be a good giant fight if my calculations are correct. And as you know, I mean, I have the burden of being correct all the time. So we'll see how this works out. I mean, even when I'm wrong, I'm still right. Did you see how that, First off, yeah, and yeah. First, I mean, yeah, did you see how it worked out when I ate that piece of food, cursing myself? I was totally fine by the end of it. All right, nothing else here is all that useful, so it's pretty much just, you know, getting to the end. Not going to be able to parry everything, but... Great. Yeah, okay, maybe the damage is not as good as I was hoping, but at least I'm able to rally up quite a bit here. Yeah, if I get the critical, it's not bad. $40,000 each hit. Roll and that should do it. Okay, good. Phase transition is fine. A little bit hard to get a hit here, but it's working out nonetheless. Duck, and then... not getting the critical, though. Doesn't matter, though. It's fine. Spider's, of course, not super good in this fight, but... yeah, just don't do the other one. That was the one that I utterly failed at getting. Oh, I should have... You know what I should have gotten? Should have gotten adrenaline. That would have been good for this fight. Yeah, didn't even get anything there. That should do that. There, how about this then? If I can't get the critical... I mean, it's like the critical... I'm just short on the critical over and over. And it's really too bad, because if it was, like, just enough critical-wise, that would have been amazing for this fight. This weapon would have been amazing for this fight. Get out of here, you. All right. This time, though, I should definitely be able to get a good kill on the next on the Hand of the King just by getting adrenaline alone. I'll be able to regen up a lot of health. Be at 34 brutality, and that's gonna be like a pretty easy jump to the end of the game, if I'm not wrong. Still gonna have maybe not as many potion charges as I would like, but enough to be good. Thank God I took disengagement, by the way. I do want to point that out. Okay, let's take that inside disengagement once again, just because, yeah, and adrenaline. Adrenaline, I should be dodging through enough attacks, especially knowing that I'm not using a shield to really make this thing worthwhile. All right. I'm going in at half health, but I should be coming out at full. Trivially, if everything goes right. I mean, yeah, I would say trivially. Careful. Yeah, not bad. Not bad so far. I mean, the adrenaline, clearly we're at the point where it has, like, hit maximum overdrive. Because that is some good healing I'm getting off. Two. Good. Yeah, I knew he was going to go for that. There, nice. I think that might have been a perfect fight, too, which is good, because I can use the legendary item. Maybe replace up that pyrotechnics. All right. Good stuff. Still 2 potion charges left, going into the last area. You know, I gotta say, I was kind of cool on it right up until I got the legendary Valmont's whip, and this thing has just been amazing, to be honest. All right, fine, fair enough. You know what? This is a good weapon. It took a little bit of convincing. You know what? Sure. Took a little bit of convincing, but I'm all in. I'm all in on the Valmont train here. I guess, I mean, I do also have, like, some really huge stats, and you really can't judge a weapon when you have huge stats. You gotta have regular stats. That's the real test. But, hey, whatever. It's whatever works for me, really. I'm gonna have to still worry about those guys. Flamethrower turret is gonna do some good. It's not gonna do that much good. Yeah, hits through shields. Doesn't hit through those shields. Hits through physical shields, not energy shields. Big difference. Big boy, big difference. Doing 100,000 damage. I mean, this is the sort of thing that made the Valmont's whip super good for killing bosses in a single shot in old versions of the game. Not gonna get cursed by eating this, right? Good. And that legacy is living on here. Yeah. Yeah, I said I wanted this, didn't I? Anyway, sure, poison's the enemy too. Why not? I still got like the beginning version of the flamethrower turret here as well, which is maybe not something that you would normally want to have here. Maybe I can upgrade it. Actually, might be able to. That's good for me. All right, well. Oh, he didn't actually die from that. That's actually like motion charge usage time. Ridiculous. Oh well, this still should be effective as long as I have even one potion charge left. That's all I really need. And that's the major thing that I'm worried about at this point in time. Everything else is pretty good for this run otherwise. I might have whiffed that, but it doesn't matter. Got enough damage anyway. Okay. 33 points of brutality. 2 legendary items. One of them is the actual item for the run. Item du jour. This is looking pretty good. I just need the elevator key, and I can get out of here. I don't know if that's going to be coming up as easy, though. Well, as easy. I had to use a potion charge there. What am I even saying? This is actually about the point in time to do this sort of thing. Yep. Hey, if you don't really have the right weapons to make it work. Good. I guess it somehow got on fire or something. That's the only thing I can think of. Now then, anybody else want to be making a play at this? I just want to get out of here, but I'm perfectly willing to fight too if it comes down to it. Good. And that bleed is actually taking out enemies because you're being left with so little health after I hit them. Well, or mostly. For some lesser enemies, I guess. That's true. Not so much for everything. Oh well. Just get up here and get going. Nope, not really what I'm looking for. You, however, are what I'm looking for. Good. Bosses are not gonna cotton as nicely to the... Also, not going to cotton as nicely to the whole boys axe type of deal that I got going on, but I should be able to get at least a lot of big hits on the final boss before he's able to do anything about it. Even though that's kind of, well, I mean, the final boss does actually spend a long time kind of waiting around, so as long as I can get into critical range, that's should make for a relatively easy kill on the dude. I think. We'll see. Good, and one extra little bit of money that I'm not even going to use. Well, I guess I can use it to re-roll that flamethrower turret once I eventually buy it, but still, it's not really... Oh, that wasn't enough to... Man, that's what I wanted you to do. Come on, cut me some slack here, my dude. Good, and fly down here already so I can end your life. Good. Yeah, a lot of good stuff going on here, at least. I mean, Boy's Axe actually does quite a bit more damage than I was expecting too, so... Yep. By the way, what is, like, the difference? Boy's Axe does... yeah, you know, actually starting to like look at the comparison. If I'm hitting the critical, it's good. So I guess it's actually, you know, not changed up too much from what I know this weapon as before. The base damage is not very impressive, but it's just really being buffed out by the huge amount of stats that I got here. Big stats can make anything seem real impressive. That said, I do think that this definitely has... This definitely has a lot of merit to it, nonetheless. Good. And burn the ground? Nah. Not even going to worry about that. You should remember, though, when I get near the end of the game, that I am going to want to go back and get that... I'm going to want to go back and get the flamethrower turret. Having an upgrade for that, I think, is going to be quite nice. Good, good. Because that's just a lot of extra damage I should be able to get. Oh. Oh, well. The thing is, with adrenaline, I should be able to heal up pretty well for the final boss fight. Stop that. Stop doing that right now. Good. And one more hit. Okay, not quite enough to get the adrenaline working, but I'm still, you know, pretty much full up on health, so I guess I can't be too unhappy about it. All right. Grab that flamethrower turret and get out of here, because this should do it, if I'm not wrong. Gonna lose a couple stats, but with 70,000 gold left, that's actually way more than I thought I was going to have. Be able to re-roll that into at least one brutality. Oh, but that's fine. I was worried there for a second that I forgot to open up the doors. And there is one thing that I want to go try. Yeah, people told me you could do that, so I thought I might as well. Why not at least show that off, because apparently that is a thing. Those electric wires are pretty powerful. Okay. I don't think there's really anything else that I want. It's just, you know, run. Oh, there's one more thing I want to do. Don't forget about that. There we are. Don't really need to worry too much about affixes on there or anything. Everything is already pretty well handled by everything else in the build. All right. Let's do this. So, am I entirely turned around on the weapon? Probably not, but I at least will use it more often, I think. Three, four. Hey, at least I am healing up quite a bit. Hasn't used any potion charges yet. Him using potion charges, of course, is the more optimal thing for me. Pretty good damage, but, you know. Oh, wrong direction. Fine. Go around here, go around here, go around here. Don't want to come around here no more. There we are. Yeah, pretty good damage, but, you know, it is a little bit difficult to try and... Hi. Couldn't even see. No perfect fight for me this time. This should also be final. Two, three. Two, three, and... That would have been a perfect fight, too, I swear. Oh well, it doesn't really matter. Done.